Hey y'all, welcome back to another interview, and I have Sarah Jules here with us. Hey,
Hello. Hi, thanks for having me.
thanks for being on here. I am so excited to talk to you, especially since I'm obsessed with these two books.
Oh, thank
It
you.
came out of nowhere for me because, like I said in my review, I'm not usually a big paranormal person. I feel like I've seen it all, but like this, I don't know. Death Grip. And I was so excited when I found out there was a sequel after that. Have to have it too. So tell me a little bit about how you came up with this idea.
Well, I've always been kind of fascinated with the idea of fake psychics and the idea also that there could be real ones. Because I'm one of those people where I won't rule anything out. I'd like to think that it's a possibility, but realistically, like, who knows? Um, and I was thinking about the whole psychic trope and how we could maybe turn it round a little bit. Um, and that's how it all really came to be. I came up with Lilith Lavelle, the psychic, first. She's kind of a ditzy airhead, social media influencer. Um, and I wanted to kind of question whether fake psychics are harmless or whether they do cause harm in what they do.
I felt so many emotions reading this because, like, the characters, you would feel one way about them at one moment, and then the next moment you're like, oh, was I too harsh? Because I kept thinking that every single chapter I felt something different. I'm like, this is amazing. You are so good at like evoking emotions through both of these. There were so many times that I was like literally screaming in my head, no, what are we doing? God, it was just so crazy.
Well, thank you. That's what
Were
we go for.
oh yeah, was this more of something that you planned or kind of plotted or just kind of winged it when you were writing? And was it different than your regular process? Because I know you have a bunch of other books, which I've also got.
So it was I'm one of those people that plan the whole book in advance. I sit down and I plot out the whole thing chapter by chapter. Um, I'm probably the most anal person you've ever met in that respect. But my background is ghostwriting, so that's what I do. I'm so used to doing that with clients. We sit and we plot out the whole book that it just comes naturally now. And I have a drawer full of manuscripts that I didn't plot out that aren't finished because I've got no idea where I was supposed to go with them.
Oh,
So I sat down and planned out. You invited it in. It was never supposed to have a sequel. However, people, I was sort of it. You invited it in was kind of like my big break in the indie space. I didn't expect it to kind of go as well as it did, and then for people to be requesting sequels, I was like, well, it's something we'll explore, but if I can't find something that's going to do it justice, then I won't. Um, but then I went down the rabbit hole of yes, but what happens after a haunting, especially in the age of social media where everything's everywhere, and once it's online forever. Um, so then I sat and plotted that out to see if I had enough to do it justice, because the last thing I wanted was people going, "Oh, the sequel was terrible. The first one was fine."
I know. I was so afraid. I was so excited because I was like, oh my God, this was amazing. But I was like, is the sequel going to be as good? Because I wish you got paid for every time I have listened to the audiobook. Because I'm telling you, it was on repeat. I don't even know how many times I listened to it anymore because I was just like, good Lord, this is amazing.
Oh, the audio book narrator Kevin, he obviously he took a chance on the first book because I'd not got any reads on it when he signed up. Um, but hopefully he's fairly happy with how that's gone now.
It was just
Especially
so
because he did the
good.
sequel too. I thought he did such a good job.
He did so good. I added him to my roster of narrators that I like to look out for. Because like Joe Hempel, it doesn't matter
Oh
what he's
yeah.
reading out loud. I'm like, okay, am I mildly interested in it? Because I'll listen.
It's one of those voices where you could just listen
Yes.
to them read a shopping list and it'd be
Yes,
fine.
absolutely. And when I listened to these two, I was like, oh my God, why is this so amazing? I don't know. The story, the narrator, just everything about it was just so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Was there any characters in, well, let's separate it out. In the first book, who do you think your favorite character was or is? Did you have any?
I think it's gonna have to be Specs across the whole thing. Specs is that was another thing I wanted to do with it. If I'm ever gonna have a character that's an animal, then 100% that animal is gonna be safe. I
Yeah,
never want people to panic about picking up the book and the dog dying, because I've done it before and got really invested, and then the dog dies in some horrific way.
I
And I
know. I was
but
so
I wanted
scared.
Specs to be believable as well, and hopefully I did that. I saw a review the other day where somebody wrote Specs for president, and I just thought that was the best.
He was such a good boy, like
He is the
such a good
best boy.
boy during the entire two books. I was just like, because I knew, of course, nothing was going to happen to him, but I'm just also like, okay, please let nothing happen to him or I'm going to die.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. Now, if there's ever especially a dog, the dog's gonna be 100% fine.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love that. And of course, people are like, because they know, or well, when they read the synopsis, they're like, there's a dog in this. Is it going to be okay? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely okay. This book is for you. Humans might not make it, but the dog is fine.
Humans are fair game. I've said it all along.
Yeah.
Any human, child, whatever, who knows what's going to happen, but the
And
dog
to
will
be
always
fair,
be
during
fine.
both books, 9 times out of 10, with all the characters at one point, I was like, I'm not really sure I care if you live or not.
No,
But
I
that was
know.
so funny. Is in these two books, you packed so much in there that I was legitimately swapping sides with characters so much.
That was something else as well. My main thing is that the characters felt like real people, because nobody's like completely good and nobody's completely bad. And even the villains in the story, I wanted you to kind of understand where they were coming from. I didn't want you
Yes.
to just write them off straight away.
I think that's
But
what made this so different, especially as like a paranormal possession type book, is like it really was not black and white at any point during the thing on any of the sides. And I'm just like, I was worn out after I finished reading it. I feel like I had like an emotional roller coaster, and I'm like,
oh,
okay. And then I just started it over again. I'm like, okay,
oh,
round
bless
two.
you.
But it was just so good. And I also really like your covers. I know they're kind of simple, but like there's just something about them. They always pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
Even before I read this, I'd seen it a million times, and I'm like, okay, it's on my TBR. Move it up, move it up, move it up. But where
Christy
did you get the idea?
Aldridge. So Christy Aldridge did the first one. She's amazing. I think she's great. And the inspiration was Tremblay's Horror Story, the cover that's really, really simple. Loved that book. And the second one, so I was gonna have Christy to do the second one as well, but then I stumbled across that image that's on the second one, and it was just, that was it. I didn't need anything else.
It was just
But
so perfect. So I'm like, yes, this is perfect. Because I was like, how's the sequel cover going to look? How can you make that any better but different? But it is. It is so the same but different. They go together, and it's the sequel.
yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yes. I love it. But it's so simple. It's just one of my favorite things. Every time I show it off, I'm just like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
I love really simple covers where they're immediately recognizable as, oh, that's that book. That's
I
all
feel
I
like
wanted from
it's
this.
especially true after you read it. I feel like the covers fit so well. I'm like, you know what? That was perfect.
Yeah, I did go back and forth on the second cover quite a bit because TikTok did not like it.
I know. It got me, but I was like, whatever. I don't care. This book's amazing.
But I did toy with taking the rope off, and then, but there's so many more graphic covers out there and so many graphic videos, and I just thought, well, it's an image from the story. If that puts you off reading the book, then that's probably for the best. It might not be for
The rest
you.
of the book is probably not for you.
No. So, and I liked the image. It wasn't, my mum does not like the image, but I really liked the image. And I thought, it's going to probably attract the right reader. That's what we're going for.
Especially if you literally read the first one and then you start reading the second one. It's perfect. It's just amazing. Let's see. So we probably need to stop talking about these two books because you have other books, and I don't want to spoil these for anybody that hasn't read it, that I haven't already done it for. Tell me a little bit about your other books and kind of the directions you went in that, because I know they are a little bit different.
They are. So I wrote Found You first, and let me see if I've got the cover, because Ruth Anna Evans has just redone them for me and they're beautiful. So, not my chest for a second. So, Found You, I started off, I wanted something a bit more thriller, and it kind of got darker and darker and ended up, I think it's on the verge of horror and psychological thriller. It kind of walks that line, and I never really know what to market it as. So Ruth, and you can't see because of my terrible camera, Ruth Anna Evans did such a beautiful job with the new covers, because I was brand new when I wrote that. I didn't know what I was doing. I did my own covers and they were fine, but they weren't good.
There's room for improvement for any cover, honestly.
Yeah, and we're all growing and learning, and I've been in this space a little bit longer now, so I know where I went wrong and change that moving forward. So Found You is 2 timelines and follows Savannah and Cameron, and their stories intertwine. At the end, Cameron receives some images of himself being tortured, but he's never been tortured before. And it's basically him devolving and the storyline being explained as we go through. It's absolute chaos, but I think in a good way.
Okay, that sounds so freaking good. I'm like, okay, we got to get done with this interview so I can go read this real quick. It sounds like a really cool, like, is somebody going to make this into a movie? Because it sounds like it needs to also be a movie.
I would love it to be. In my head, it's one of those BBC series, like a 6-episode thing. I would love that so much.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounds
And then
good.
My second novel was Don't Lie, and again Ruth Anna Evans did a new cover for me, and it's beautiful. That is kind of a campy slasher, set in the middle of nowhere. It's a bunch of teenagers, well, young adults that have left university, and they're having this final blowout. But it's actually the cover for a prank on one of them. But the prank goes wrong, and they find that they are being stalked by a man in a mask.
That's gonna be good too, because I love campy slashers.
Oh, me too.
There's just something so good about it, because you never really know the wrong that's gonna go wrong. Is it actually gonna be one of the friends? Is it gonna be a random psycho that lives in the woods? Is it gonna be a hillbilly? You don't know. You have no clue.
No, exactly.
And it's so cool. I love books like that. So definitely going to be checking that out. I think it actually might be one of the ones that I already have of yours digitally. So I'm going to go double check after we get off here.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. So those are a tiny bit different from what these two over here. Is there any type of genre that you haven't written in that you think that you would really want to take a chance on and dive into? Or have you already kind of, you're happy where you are?
So I've been using kind of short stories to explore what I like writing and what I don't. So in Bloody Hell, which was an anthology that I did with a bunch of UK authors, it was kind of trapped in a coal mine with dummies, and it was a whole thing. It was great. That's probably paranormal still, but different, this one.
That's yeah.
And then I had the absolute pleasure of doing Good for Her with Nefarious Bat Press, and all of those stories are female rage and empowering women. So that was pure revenge, which was fabulous, and I really did enjoy it. My next book, which I've been working on today, is it's completely different to anything that I've ever done again. And it's near future dystopian, based in a trapped in treatment teen facility.
Oh my god.
And I'm really, really excited about that. So I'm in the process of, I'm still plotting bits out, and I'm not quite sure how it's going to fit together. And because I've made this school from scratch, I'm trying to figure out the rules and things. So I'm spending a lot of time on Reddit, looking through all of the Provo Canyon and Elan schools kind of bits and pieces, and picking out what works and what doesn't for me in this story. But yeah, and the Tiny Terrible Tales that I'm doing, one's releasing every few weeks, and they're all going to be different genres, different vibes, but they're all going to be creepy.
I love that. That's so freaking cool. I'm definitely looking forward to the book you're currently writing. I love like any type of you're trapped, isolated, just cut off type horror. Oh my god, sign me up. So, and I love that you're doing the anthologies. Because the ones that I've seen so far, which by the way, I also really like the covers on both of those. The Good for Her and the other one, the one before it, they were just they were kind of simple, but they were amazing. Yeah. Like I kind of got obsessed with them.
So Ruth Anna Evans did the cover for Good for Her, and Bloody Hell it kind of came about in a very, very strange way. The artist that did the cover for Bloody Hell is actually my tattoo artist. And we were in the middle of doing, I had some terrible tattoos as a youth, and we were working on covering them up. And I was telling her about this project that I was doing. She's called Rachel Rose. You can find her on Instagram. She's incredibly talented. And she was like, I could do the cover. And we talked about all the ideas. So she illustrated it throughout and did the cover, and in and amongst all that, finished my tattoo sleeve, which was wonderful.
That's so cool. And those two covers are just ones that just pop. Every time I'm scrolling and I see them, I'm like, oh, yes, I love that again. Because they're just so cool.
Yeah. I was proud of those.
Also, anthologies are amazing. I love getting to get a hold of one. You find, or well, I find new to me authors, or I find authors that are getting to dip their toes into other genres they normally wouldn't dedicate a whole book to. And I'm like, oh, you should write a whole story like this. And then I hope they do.
I think it is good. Yeah, that's why I read them, because especially indie authors, like indie publishing and self-publishing's got a bad rap, and all of the people in the horror community that I know are doing what they can to kind of negate, the reputation that precedes them. And by reading an anthology of all these indie authors, you get like a sample of their work before you commit to a full novel. So what's better than that?
I have never ever gotten a hold of an anthology where I hated so much of it that I'm like, this was not worth it. Because there's so many different authors. You're going to find one, two, and that's absolutely worth it to me.
And you can always skip to the next story. You don't have to read the story.
For sure. And you're not dedicating yourself to 900 pages of something.
Exactly.
Perfect vehicle sometimes. Are you going to be in any other anthologies or putting any together in the future? Or are you just working on the one story? Or do you work on multiple at a time? I know some authors just do one single thing.
So I'm in one coming up that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But that should be really, really cool. And I've been asked to write for another, so I need to start working on that one actually. But I'm personally putting editing them on the back burner for a while, because there's so much, you don't realize how much work goes involved to putting an anthology together. It's not as simple as people just send you the stories, you put them together and off you go. I learnt my lesson with Bloody Hell, especially doing the 100 hardback limited edition ones. We
Ooh.
had, my mum and dad, bless them, we had a packing system. It took 2 days to pack them all up, and then the Royal Mail were just terrible at picking them up when they were supposed to pick them up, and I don't know how they all got to everyone, to be honest,
Oh my
but they
goodness.
did. So I'm taking a break from that. Nefarious Back Press, Nat and Shauna, they did most of the hard work for Bloody Hell. For Good for Her, they were incredible. So they made that an absolute dream. Personally, I'm not editing any for a while.
After that, I would definitely take a break myself too. And also, you're writing at the same time. That's just so many things. I would just have to close my eyes and sit down.
Yeah. And I think my problem is because I write for work as well. I write and edit for work. So I spend all day
Oh
sat in
my
front of a computer
goodness.
screen.
And you're
It's a lot.
still putting out such good books. You are amazing. Oh goodness.
I think I try and take my time, and I try and not put out anything that I don't think's finished. I'll never ever be one of those authors that's able to put out multiple novels a year, which is part of why I wanted to do the Tiny Terrible Tales, because at least then readers have got bits of things
Something.
coming out that they can dip into if they want.
You gotta keep us hungry.
I'm in awe of people that can do more than one novel a year. I just think they are insane.
When I talk to any authors that are like juggling multiple full length novels at a time, I'm like, I don't even like, I can read multiple full length novels at a time, do it all the time, not a big deal. But writing, I can't even imagine that. I'm panicking thinking about writing like multiple papers back when I was in school. That was too much.
No, I'm the same. I can do whatever I'm doing for work and a novel at the same time, that's fine. If I'm doing a short story, then the novel gets put aside while I do. I can't work on, especially if they're fairly similar vibes, and especially if one of them is like first person and one's third
Oh
person.
my goodness.
Oh, it all ends up going wrong, so we don't do that.
Well, so far your books have been amazing, so I think you're doing something right.
Oh, thank you so much.
Let's see. What do I want to ask? Oh, so what do you think was like inspiration that got you started into wanting to be an author? Some of the authors I've talked to didn't pick it up till later in their life. Some of them have been reading horror since they could toddle around. Where do you fall there?
So I've always been a reader. When I was little, my mum used to take us to the library every week. We'd pick out 10 picture books and then we'd come back and read them. As I got older, my Nan Carol, she used to go to the market in town, Barnsley Market, and she'd pick up Stephen King and Jeffrey Deaver. And I'd read those like religiously from being sort of like 13 maybe. So I'm not as young as a lot of people started reading Stephen King, but still probably a little bit too young. And I've still got all of the books that she bought me, all of the Jeffrey Deaver and Stephen King's, they're all there. So I think I've always been kind of led to the darker genres. I had like a brief interlude where I read quite a lot of fantasy, but I was like preceding the smut era. Like I was a bit too early for that, which is fine. And so now I'm kind of scared to dip back into fantasy because, like, read whatever you want to read. I think smut's incredible, because it's got so many people reading that wouldn't have been reading. So that's great. But I don't want to pick up a book not expecting it to be smut and it just be porn.
No, I completely agree because I read so many different genres myself. Like, I know mostly all my stuff is horror and thriller, but I like fantasy too, and I like sci-fi. And
Oh
I
yeah.
like, well, the Bridgerton series, which I don't even know what we classify that is. But you know, um, But like, if I go to read a book that's fantasy, I want to be aware of if there's smut in it before I get into it. Because
And
also,
how
I don't.
much?
Yeah, I want to be prepared for it.
Yeah, definitely,
So totally
definitely.
get that too.
So yeah, I've always read books. From I think I have like a notebook that I write down all the books that I've read in. I think the earliest entries are like 2009. So I would have been in my last year of senior school when I was filling that in. So I've always read a lot, always tracked what I've read, but I didn't really consider the author side of things until so I used to be a teacher. I went to university, do teaching, primary school teaching, and I lasted 3 months teaching. Um, Absolutely despised it. It wasn't what we were kind of told to expect, and I was in a really bad situation in a school that I hated. And so I came out of that, kind of did other school related things for a couple of years, and then had a breakdown. Which I'm laughing about now, but obviously it was very traumatic at the time. And I was really, really poorly, couldn't leave the house. And my partner, bless him, Danny, he says to me, why don't you try working online, see what comes up? So I signed up for a bunch of different platforms and doing so. I'd done my master's degree and everything like that. So I signed up to do proofreading for people. And a little old man asked me if I would write his memoirs with him. So that's kind of how I ended up in getting into ghostwriting, and it kind of evolved from that. So I then spent sort of 4 or 5 years writing, helping other people write books before I even started writing mine. And I kind of got to a point where so many people had asked me if I was just going to write my own book that I thought, you know what, I will, and then I'll shut you all up and it's done.
I've never actually talked to anybody that's ghost written, but I've read so many books about it. So this is absolutely fascinating to me. It's so cool that you actually like took these people's ideas and then helped them make it into like the cohesive story that I'm sure they imagined. That's just so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a job that I ever like. I didn't even know it existed until then. Um, and then I don't. So a lot of people think ghostwriting is people just pay me to write a book, and that's not what it is at all. It's really collaborative. A lot of the authors that I work with are English as a second language, or dyslexic, or struggle with various different things. So it's basically just me helping them put their ideas on paper. It's the best job ever. But
It's
like
like
I say,
a
it does
super,
involve.
super, super beta reader. Like
No,
oh
that's it. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it feels like. Yeah. And I spend most of my time doing this, just talking through people's stories with them, and then it's all very collaborative, and we do it together.
that actually
So
sounds fun.
it's so fun.
And I love that you've like found what you like to do because I too had a mini breakdown a little bit like yours and I'm like what am I freaking doing, you know? Didn't want to leave the house, couldn't do anything and I'm like okay, I
Yeah.
got to make a change. And you know, you got to find something that you like to do or it's just misery otherwise and you did.
Definitely. Yeah. By accident. Completely by accident.
And it's wonderful though because like I think it shows like you do so many helpful things. You've helped do these anthologies, you've done these, you've put out your own amazing books. Like it's just good karma
Oh, I appreciate that.
and talent, of course. Don't want to say it's just karma, but talent.
I would hope that it's so hard to gauge your own stuff though as well. Like sometimes I write stuff and I'm like, is that good? Is that terrible? Like, is it terrible? Would people tell me if it was? Like,
Listen, I hate everything I do, so completely understand. And I'm not even like a creative. I'm just like this is trash.
I feel exactly the same most of the time. I'm glad it's not just me.
Yeah, no, I think it's a bit of an imposter syndrome. I'm convinced. But I'm like, I see other people just halfway doing stuff, and I'm like, they're doing that confidently. I got this.
That's it. That's 100% it. You see other people doing things and you're just like, well, if they can do it like that and be confident, then I'm fine.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Do you get to go around to like conventions and book signings and little things like that, or not? I know some people have those in their area, some people don't.
Yeah. So, I went to what? So I had another mini breakdown last year. So I've kind of
You can
been,
have one as a treat.
yeah, I treat myself to a breakdown and then I don't leave the house for a while and it's lovely. So I backed out of a few events and things until I was feeling better, because the last thing I wanted to do was sit behind a table if I'm feeling just crap about life in general. So I did my first convention about a year and a half ago, and it was lovely. I got to meet Lee Kenny, who is one of my favorite people, and I talk to her like every day anyway. Matt Rayner, he pretends to be a bit of a dickhead, but he's not. He's lovely. Um, Elizabeth Brown, she's amazing.
I'm so
Um,
jealous.
oh, they were so lovely in person as well. Ashley Lister, he's a name you don't hear too much, and he's just
No, but
the
his short
best.
stories, I still think about Turkey Teeth, I believe was his short story.
Oh,
It just ruined me. Ruined me. I
he's
was like, this
so
is
good.
amazing. What the
Yeah.
hell?
So the in the last few years, we are getting more conventions. There's a lady called Trish Wilson. She used to do a lot of reviews. She's now leading the charge
She's
with,
amazing.
oh, she's so good with the Indie Horror Chapter events. And I'm hoping to at least go. I don't want to sit behind a table. I'm sorry, that's not me. I don't want to go and sit behind a table and like beg people to read my books. I can't do it.
Just
But I
run.
want to go and see everyone and just hang out. So I'm planning on going and she's doing an event soon. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. And I'm planning on going and just chilling at the bar. Which sounds incredible to me. I just want to see everyone, especially MJ Mars, who I haven't got to meet in person yet, and I love her to pieces. She's the best.
Every time I see pictures from when I saw all the indie horror pictures, I was
I
so jealous. I'm like, you guys have so much fun. I hate it. I love it. I hate
I
it.
was
I'm
I
not
still
there.
wanted to go for the day. I was gonna go down for the day, but it was 3.5 hours away for me, and I just couldn't, just not for a one-off, and it was too late for me to kind of book a hotel and things, but
There was
the
an
next one
event.
I will be there.
There was an
It's not
event.
like America. You Americans will drive like 6 hours for an
Listen,
hour event.
I was literally about to say, listen, there was an event that I wanted to go to so bad, but when I looked it up, it was 11 hours, and I'll do 6 hours, no problem, won't even bat an eyelash. But 11 hours killed me. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, no, honestly, anything longer than 2 hours, and I'm just like, that's too far.
Where I grew up at, it was literally like 30 minutes to get to like a Walmart. So
Oh God,
I'm used
America's
to
so
long traffic.
wild. Like, I can't wrap my head around that.
Is it not crazy?
That's so crazy.
Like for me to drive from where I live now to back home while I still live in the exact same state, it's like 7 hours. It makes no sense. And I have to drive in and out of 3 states to wind up in the same state.
You could drive up like almost from the bottom of England to the top of Scotland in that time, I
That's
swear.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I have heard that. I talked to Jim Odie a couple of
Hmm.
weeks ago, and he was talking about the Indie Horror Chapter, and he's like, we were having like different meetups, and we realized all the same people are coming because it's like a 3-hour drive, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, but it's not like that here, unfortunately.
No, you guys are just, you're troopers. You'll do it.
It's crazy, but that's fans for you. Wonderful.
That's amazing.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Do you watch like any horror adjacent like movies and TV shows, or are you just a reader? Because I'm mostly just a reader, but I do get sucked into TV shows sometimes.
I'm So I love horror films. I particularly like going to see them in the cinema. I think they're so
It's an
much better in the
experience.
cinema. But we haven't been in quite a while because so we used to have cinema cards and you go as much as you want, but then they upped the prices and you know, so
Mm.
we cancelled those. So I've not actually been to see a film in the cinema for a while. So I'm like woefully behind on a lot of the new releases. My favorite, if I'm gonna watch a horror film, I love kind of a horror comedy. I love anything a little bit silly. Um, sort of, like the Tucker and Dale style things. I love that kind of thing. Um, I'm not very much of a horror watcher at home. I'm the kind of person that will put on a TV show that I've watched 1,000 times and just watch that again. So things like oh gosh, I don't know if you've seen like Derry Girls or The
Oh,
Inbetweeners or Superstar, things like that. I'll just sit and I've watched them 1,000 times
we
and I will just sit and watch them again. I think it's a comfort thing. Like if I'm gonna chill, I want to know what's gonna happen.
no, absolutely. Like in our house, like usually it's Bob's Burgers that's on repeat. Because there's something about it. It's very comforting. But I do have other shows that I'll flip over to. Am I like super weird detectives, and by super weird, I just mean like, do you know the show Father Brown? He's
No,
like a
no, I'm
priest or a preacher, but he's a detective. He does like detective work. I watch crap like that on repeat, or Bridget Neiman, or something funny. But yeah, it's just comfort, something to go in the background while I'm doing something else.
yeah. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine's another favorite. I could just watch that
That's
over
pretty
and over
funny
and
too,
over
though.
again.
I'm so behind on everything TV show and movie wise. Like Purgatory Media is doing the big movie thing, and I'm like, I don't watch
I'm
movies.
terrible.
I'm so behind. I don't know any of the new ones.
No, I know what's coming out, and we keep going, shall we go and see it? And then we never do. So
I'm like, I need to see this so bad, and then I don't. And then I feel bad,
yeah,
and then
it's
everybody's like, "Did
like
you see this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't."
it's like when you pre-order a book and you're like, I will read it the second it comes. And I've got books from like 3 years ago that I pre-ordered that I've not read yet. It's the same. You're like, oh, I'll go to the cinema and see it, and then you don't, and you go, I'll just wait for it to come on Netflix and then I'll watch it, and then you don't.
Like the only way that I get through new books is the ones that I get that are arts and betas,
Same.
because I have the pressure that I have to do this and get it done and prioritize it. Which, too bad TBR, but
Yeah, and I'm still always late with arcs. I can't help it. I'm
I've
really
started
bad.
getting mine closer and closer and closer to the release date. I'm like, is it helping anybody for me to post a review about this 3 months in advance because I have no chill about reading it?
I'm reading Rachel Harrison's Play Nice at the minute, and I got that as an arc, and I think it came out last week. But we're getting there. It's so good though. I wish I'd picked it up sooner.
It is so good. Did you read her book Bad Dolls, like the short story collection?
No, I didn't. That's like the only one. That and is it Thirsty? They're the only two I've not read. The one with
So my book
vampires.
club got to talk to her about So Thirsty. So of course I read So Thirsty, and it was amazing. And I'm like, okay, okay. And she was talking about Bad Dolls, and I was like, okay, I love short stories. I'll go pick this up. I think it might be my favorite thing she's written.
Oh,
And
do you
everybody's like, I
know?
haven't read it.
I
And I was like,
love
there
her.
was just something about it.
And she's so cool. Like, is she not the coolest person?
She wears a leather jacket. She's cool. It's done.
Yeah. And
And she was
feathers.
so
She put a picture on Instagram and she was wearing feathers. I'm like, I would never dare wear feathers. It would look ridiculous on me, but I knew it looked so cool.
and like when we were talking to her during her thing at the book club, she was just so chill and down to earth and normal, and I was like, you're so cool. You're just so cool.
We've got so many amazing, like, really cool female authors, like, coming up. Like, CJ Lead, I think, is just so
So
cool. Like,
cool.
I
Also,
stalk her Instagram all the time.
there's
She's
just
so
so
cool.
many that like they're putting out amazing books and they're cool and they're doing cool stuff and going places, and I'm like, yes, please, more of this.
Yes,
I love it.
so cool.
I love how horror is like, I know some people aren't happy that horror seems to be becoming mainstream, but I'm like, listen, I used to have to go through 3 to 4 sub menus to find the horror section, if there was one. I love this. I don't care. Put sprayed edges and foil it, make it pretty and everything. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It's getting way more eyes on it, which means more authors get to put out their books and get to actually do this as a job. Like,
yeah. I mean, it
loving it.
wasn't that long ago that you go to like a horror section and there'd be 2 shelves and it'd all be Stephen King.
Yes.
But now, like, I went to Edinburgh last week and I was at their Waterstones, and their horror section, they've got 2 full bookshelves, which is like amazing for horror. And there was loads of like smaller names that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see on a shelf, and that was amazing. And my partner, bless his heart, he was stood there for like 20 minutes while I was like, should I get this one or this one? He's like, just buy one already. But
Doesn't
I love
understand. We
it.
didn't used to have choices.
Yeah, now there's too much choice.
Oh, goodness. No, I love it. Like, I
I do.
remember I used, because the small town where I grew up, horror was not an option.
Hmm.
So I grew up finding like Reader's Digest, Ellery Queen magazine, like random stuff like that, and digging through. But now you go to Barnes and Nobles, and so many of like the booksellers that work there are taking it serious and doing like indie stacks and getting
Love it.
indie horror, and I'm like, you're doing the Lord's work.
Preach.
It's amazing, and I'm so excited for it. And like when I go to
I love
Libby
it.
now, you can sort by horror and find new stuff and request stuff at the library, and they actually get it.
Yeah, yeah. It's brilliant. And I I think the older you get, because I mean I'm 31 now, so you know
Oh my
we're
god, I'm
in the
older than
30s.
you.
Why? How old are you?
I'm like 34, I think.
Oh, you're not much older than me at all. We're
No.
in our 30s. I just look old because I've got a bob cut now. But I realised that because when I was younger, I used to hate anything that was like cool. Like
Yeah.
I would purposely be like, I don't like that because it's too, everybody likes it and therefore I can't like it. And as I've got older, I'm like, if everyone likes it, then there's probably a reason why everyone likes it. Number one, but number two, why is it a bad thing if people are reading horror? Like, that's just the best. So what if horror's cool now? It should have always been cool because it's objectively the coolest genre.
There's so
Horror
much
and
that goes
sci-fi.
into horror. Like, you can
Mm,
literally find something scary in literally everything, in my opinion. Just how scary is it? We don't know. But
exactly.
like, it includes so many people, and I feel like it gets such a bad rap.
Yeah, and I think the nerdy stuff now is getting cooler. Anything that used to be nerdy is now cool.
I
Like
get
my
merch now.
partner's into Magic the Gathering again, and he'd not played that since like high school. And Pokemon's everywhere now. And oh, do you know he'd love you? He keeps trying to get me to play, and I'm like, I'll sit
Did
and
he
read in a
tell you that
corner.
you can build an entire deck dedicated to dogs?
Yes, he did. We've been looking at the dogs.
That's a cat deck.
Is
It's my pride and joy.
it? But
Um,
I think that's why sort of like sci-fi in general and horror is becoming cooler because it's that nostalgia kick of
yes,
like the Pokemon era kids.
yes,
We're
yes,
bringing
yes.
horror with us and
I'm
making it
so
cool.
excited. There's like so many options for it now. I'm like,
Mm.
I don't have to just read like, okay, not that I don't enjoy zombies and stuff, but when The Walking Dead got popular again, that was
Oh, it
all
was
that was in
everywhere.
horror. It was just zombie, zombie, zombie. And I love zombies, but I'm tired of zombies. But now
Yeah,
there's different options. It's
so
blowing up
many.
everywhere, and I'm so obsessed with it.
Yeah. I think we need more fantasy horror. That's my next thing I want people doing. I'm not good enough to do that because I can't do the world building kind of thing. But I want more people to do genuine fantasy horror. And I think Caitlin Starling's kind of going that way, and that's really exciting.
Yes, more fantasy horror would be amazing.
And
Like I
space
didn't
horror. Just set everything in space and I'm good.
sci-fi
Love
horror.
space horror. Yeah.
I'm also obsessed with like have do you know who Peter Klein's is?
Yes, but I've not read any. Yeah, are they good? I will do that. I was thinking like S.A. Barnes, that
Oh
kind of
yes.
thing. I love her.
Okay, I put off reading Dead Silence for a long, long time, and I have no idea why. And it is one of the biggest regrets I think I've had ever, besides putting off reading your book. Quite freaking honestly, like I told somebody that the other day. I was like, "Listen, I don't have many reading regrets, but those are two big ones that I have right now because those books were freaking insanely good."
Love them. The audiobook of Dead Silence was just like
I borrowed it from the
wild.
library after I read the actual book because I was just like, because that's what I do. After I listened to your audiobook, I had to get the actual physical one and read it because
Do
it
you
was
feel like
too.
I feel like you pick up different things out of books when you read them in different ways? Because I do that, especially with like non-fiction books. I'm terrible at sitting down and reading a non-fiction book, but if I've read the audiobook first, I can do it.
Yes, yes. Like you get different things. I don't know how many times that I've listened to the Dark Tower series on a loop, and I still hear different things every single time.
Yeah, I think that's what makes reading so cool, that everybody takes away different things. And especially when you read things at different times in your life as well, you take different things away from it.
Absolutely. I love that too. It's such a good experience to have. So I know there's books that I've reread that I read when I was much, 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 much younger. And I've read when I've gotten older and I'm like, oh, this is different. Still like it, but this is different.
Yeah. Yeah, it hits different.
Yes. Different times for different books. Let's see. Do you have any favorite like little indie stores around you? Because I know some people have cool ones, some people don't. I do not have any cool ones local, but I do have cool ones online.
We have so I live in, this is kind of extra information, but whatever. So I live in an ex-mining town. So it's quite, and obviously all of the mines shut in the 80s. So my area has notoriously been quite poor since then. My dad was a miner. So that's kind of, that's Barnsley's heritage. It's coal mining. That's what we did. So it was quite a poor area, and it wasn't until fairly recently that we've kind of had some money put into the area, and how our town centre now is amazing. And we've got an arcade where, not like an arcade as in a gaming arcade, an arcade as in a street of little shops. And there's a bookshop down there called Foster's Little Bookshop, and it's a husband and wife that run it, and there's so many different genres, but there's a whole wall of horror. I've not been brave enough yet to mention my books to them, but I'm in there all the time, and they have just opened up a sister shop in a nearby town as well. So things seem to be going quite well, which is awesome. Um, so yeah, that's Foster's. I think it's called Foster's Little Bookshop. It's really cool.
That is really cool. I love little bookshops and little bookstores. I used to have to travel for work, so whenever I would land somewhere, I would be like, "Okay, are there any cool bookstores around here?"
That's the first thing you Google, yeah.
Yeah, bookstores around here and places to eat.
Yeah.
Yes, too
That's
important.
the main two things. Everything else, it doesn't matter.
Nah, who cares about anything else? But no, that's just I love little bookstores like that. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of little bookstores, not that this really relates to that, but it did make me think about it. Like, what is your writing process? I know you said you work and write, and then you have your books and write. But do you have like a carved out time of day ritual where you're like, okay, I'm sitting down, getting some writing done, or are you just more of a sporadic?
So my original plan, so it never works. So my original plan was to do like 4 days a week on my actual job that makes money, and then 1 day a week on writing my own books, and then try and have a couple of days off. I'm the world's worst procrastinator ever. I'm pretty convinced I have ADHD, but it's a difficult diagnosis over here. So I'm honestly just trying to get the work done that I need to do to make money, and then any extra time I have goes on books. But especially so with ghostwriting and things, it's quite hard to plot out how long certain things are going to take.
Because you got somebody else in this.
That's it. So if I say, for example, right, I'm going to work Monday to Friday this week and then have Saturday writing on my own books, the chances that I'm actually going to end up with Saturday to do my books is usually not going to happen. So I try and just take snippets here and there. I've had 2 days off this weekend, so I've been really trying to sit down and work on my novel, which I think I'm at about 12,000 words on it now, which sounds okay, but I did start it sort of at the start of the year and then put it down and then picked it back up. And there's a lot, with it being like a dystopian future, there's a lot more planning
Oh yeah.
to it than I would have liked, because it feels like you're not doing
build
anything.
a world for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly easy given everything that's going on at the minute.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's set in a far right future.
So I'm excited. Not for the far right future, but for the book.
For the book, yeah. So I mean, it's not that far from what's happening in certain places in real life now. So it's not like I'm having to create something from scratch, but just it takes me a minute to get back into it then when I sit down and write. So hopefully now, so I took on an extra project because it was a repeat client and I love them and they're awesome. So, but that did mean that I didn't have as much time to do this, but now that's finished. So I'm hoping that I can at least by the end of the year have like a solid first draft of it. And then it'll be, you know, a few months of edits and deciding how we're going to publish and things like that. Because I've self-published all my books so far, but there are some really cool indie presses that I might want to try and things like that. So we'll just see.
You are doing so much. Like, I'm overwhelmed secondhand listening.
It's just because I talk, genuinely, it's just because I talk so fast. Most of the time, my partner's like, what have you done today? I was like, well, I've done like 3 hours of work, but I also cleaned the kitchen, painted that wall, did some gardening, and then I watched I've been watching The Resident. I don't know if you watched it, but I'm kind of obsessed with it at the minute. It's like a Grey's Anatomy type
oh my
thing,
goodness. I'm
but with one of the guys from Gilmore Girls. So I love it.
I have to look that up. I don't know if I've seen that one yet.
Oh, it's good. But I've been obsessed with that. So like when I say I've like done a whole day of work, what I basically mean is I've done everything else other than work and then panicked and then worked 3 hours. So
I mean, to be fair, that's also what I do. Like, I am very weirdly chaotically organized. I am very strictly chaotic. Like, it is insane. And if it's somebody else that I owe, it gets done above, beyond.
Yeah.
I'm like done like 7 weeks in advance. If it only affects me, right before it is due.
I'm the exact same.
Yeah. So like, you are doing a lot of things, but no, I do the same thing. Like, and I read faster than I can pump out reviews, so that's also chaotic for me. I'm just like, Alexis.
I just think people that write reviews after every single book they read, I'm in awe. Like, and the fact that you sit down and you write such beautiful reviews, like I'm all out to just do a star rating to remember to do that. So I couldn't even imagine.
I don't know how you guys are writing whole books. Writing reviews sometimes, I'm like, okay, I'm just basically taking their entire idea and telling somebody what I thought about it. You guys are writing a whole freaking book.
I honestly think reviews are harder sometimes. It's like writing the blurb for the back of the book is harder than writing the book. Ask any author ever and they'll agree. Writing the blurb, which is what, like 3 paragraphs at most, is the hardest part of writing a book.
My favorite part about reviews is that I do not have to have a thesis sentence, which is my worst. biggest enemy in my life. Thesis sentences, don't know them.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
Reviews,
fair.
it can start any way that I feel like it, and it does not
You
matter.
just do you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. But that's so funny. We're the same person, but different sides. When it
No,
comes
that's
to
true.
that. That's funny. Let's see. I don't want to keep you too much longer because I've already run your ear off. But is there
You're
anything
all right.
super cool that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, you've covered pretty much everything,
I know.
and
We've just been sitting chatting.
you've been amazing. I think I do want to just, say thank you to people like you that are helping to push indie horror. Especially as an indie author, it is so hard to get books in front of the right readers. And I know I've made mistakes in the past trying to, get books out there, and it's figuring out what works, and it's not just finding readers, it's finding the right readers. And people like you that do these beautiful reviews and all of the exciting things you're doing with the Purgatory Media and things like that. It's gonna be so good for indie horror, and that's good for everyone.
I feel like we got a pretty good group of people that love indie anything. I'm an indie junkie. It doesn't matter what it is. If there's a food truck on the side of the road, the chances are I'm pulling over. Like, it does not matter. If it is handmade, sign me up.
Oh gosh,
Yep.
yeah.
And I
And I
used,
think,
oh, go ahead.
sorry, you doing like I say, indie in general's had a bad rap for being like unedited or published before it's ready,
Yep.
or just being AI slop. And the fact that you're saying actually no, these are some authors that you should read and that we
Yes.
vetted, and it's that's only going to help sort of the hopefully good. I'm not just talking about myself. Like help the good ones kind of become more visible
Get
and
a
rise
leg
up.
up.
And
Because that's what I always tell people. I'm like, listen, we have to all work together here because somebody else getting a leg up in the horror community means that everybody's eyes are on them and then on you and the other
yeah,
indie horror authors. Like, that's a chance for you too.
and it's not a competition. And I think
No.
I found when I first started in this community, I kind of made friends with people that weren't necessarily friends for the right reasons, and things like that. But I found really in the last sort of year and a half, authors that are willing to kind of push you up, and don't expect anything in return. Not
Yes.
that you're not going to do things in return, but it's not oh, I've read your book and left a review, so now you must read mine and leave a review. It's, I read your book because I like the sound of it. I've left a review, do what you will. And I think especially women in horror now, that's becoming, women are getting so good at building up other women, and
Yes.
especially LGBTQ marginalized like communities, because horror has predominantly been male for so long. And I'm not saying the male authors aren't great, there's some incredible male authors out
They
there, but they've been there for so long. And
like
it's
when I
so
think back to
good.
younger years, there wasn't horror women authors that I really remember. It was men,
No,
which was great. That's where I started reading at. But now there's so many women to choose from. I'm like, this is amazing.
yeah. And like, it's not that women weren't there, it was that you wouldn't hear about them because horror wasn't a big enough thing to start pushing everyone up. So only certain men, and I love Stephen
People
King,
were
but
only
people
taking
like
chances
Stephen
on something
King,
they knew was going to make it.
yes, exactly. Why would you put all your money and investment into an author that you don't think is gonna be visible?
Exactly. But now there's so many, and I love it. And there's so many of you that are just amazing. Like you and Rebecca Cuthbert. I'm just like, role models. I don't even know what to say, but like, it's just, you guys are everywhere and you're doing such nice things. You're spreading every positivity, you're lifting up other authors. I'm like, this is it. This is something that I love.
That's the fact that you think that's just made my day, because I always do try. It's so hard to, because you don't want people to think you're doing it for like for it to be reciprocal, but I'm such a mood reader and things anyway, so I never ever read a book because I think, oh, if I read this author's book, then they might read mine. And
Absolutely.
as soon as I feel like I've got to do something, I don't want to do it anyway.
Yep.
So if I've read a book, that's just because I wanted to read the book, and if I talked about it, it's because I wanted to talk about it. And I'm trying to lean more towards, like I say, queer authors and female authors, or female identifying authors, whatever, just so that because historically I've not had the opportunity to read as many as them. So the fact that they're there now and I can find them and they're so visible, and so many, especially indie authors, if you reach out, they'll talk to you, they'll answer, they'll chat. And I love when people message me about my book and say things like, what the fuck have you just done that for? Honestly, I love those kind of messages. I love anybody reaching out, and I think most indie authors do. And that's probably why I love indie so much. Indie anything, like you say.
It's nice because when I was younger, like a weird, crazy thing. So I have a book that's signed by Jeff Strand, which, you know, we always see him all around and everything. But I've been reading his books like forever. And I remember thinking, this is somebody I'll never have a book signed by because I didn't have books signed when I was younger or anything like that.
Yeah.
And like, now I do. And then I see him on Facebook and he's commenting. I've talked to him before and I'm like, this is so crazy. And then like, not that I've been reading your books forever, but I read your books. They are amazing. And now you're sitting here talking to me.
Honestly, it's such a pleasure.
I love it. I need more people to just talk to everybody else about their books. I've talked to, like I said, I've been talking to authors, and there's a couple that are like bigger names, and they're like, nobody ever asked us to talk about our books. And I'm like, why? That's the best part.
Maybe people think that like bigger authors aren't going to have time, and I don't think that's true at all. I think a lot of them are really eager to kind of chat, especially book clubs and things like that.
So I'm trying to, that's what we like about Purgatory Media. I'm like, okay, we have to start doing this and getting more people out there, and maybe more people start doing their own little videos and little reviews and get more indie authors out there. So
yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? That would be so cool.
Yes. Anyway, not going to take any more of your time up, of course. Thank you so freaking much for being here and talking to me, and you are so cool. I'm going to fangirl.
Oh, thank you so much. I've never been, honestly, if you would have known me at school, that's the last word you would have used to